Here we have verse 4 of the 16th chapter, the Gospel of John. Jesus has been giving his disciples fair warning concerning the difficulties that are going to be coming their way as they continue to serve him. And of course, he has been giving them assurance that they will be adequately equipped to meet the challenges that they're going to be facing because they will have been equipped with the Parakletos, the lawyer, the advocate, the Spirit who is going to be given to them. And so Jesus is now really explaining to them why it is that he's telling them these things now, when in fact he had not really explained them earlier. And that's the force of this verse. So we have Allah, which is the strong conjunction, but tauta. This is the accusative, plural, neuter of the demonstrative pronoun. So these things, but these things, leila, leka. This is from laleo. This is the first person singular, perfect active indicative. So these things I have spoken to you, and the perfect really gives the idea that I have spoken them and continuing to speak them, and in some ways it suggests it's going to continue to abide in you, to ring in your ears, as it were. So these things I've spoken, humen, second person, dative plural pronoun. I've spoken to you, serving as the indirect object. So the direct object, tauta, the indirect object, humen. Hina, conjunction, takes the subjunctive. In this case, the subjunctive is down here. Nemo, nu eta. This is from nemo nuo, which means I remember. And in this case, of course, we have the subjunctive of it. So it's the second person plural, present active subjunctive. So these things I've spoken to you in order that you might remember them. So that's the fundamental clause, and then we have a dependent clause that's tucked inside of the main clause, so that hotan, when or whenever, and you notice the alpha nu there implies there will also be a subjunctive here, which is what we have. So eilthe from erchomai is the subjunctive. It's the third person singular, aorist active subjunctive, in order that when it, and then comes, and then the subject of this verb is he hora, the hour, whenever the hour comes, and then we have the possessive pronoun here, third person, genitive plural, whenever their hour comes. Not always translated, but it seems that the point is when their hour comes, referring to the enemies that are going to be mounting an assault against God's people, when their hour comes, you might say. So I have spoken these things to you in order that when their hour comes, and then back to the main verb, you may remember, auton. And here again we have the same auton, but in this case it seems to be, remember the things that I've said to you. There is a little bit of ambiguity in the possible translations, but that seems to be the notion here. And so you will remember these things, auton, hoti, because, conjunction, ego, because I, and of course I included here to be emphatic, I, apon. This is the simple aorist, so it's the first person singular, aorist active, because I said them or spoke them. Humen, once again, same as here. I spoke them to you, so I've said these things to you so that when that hour comes, you will remember these things that I've said to you, them, and remember that I said them to you. Tauta, once again, the demonstrative pronoun, these things, but, soft conjunction, to you. So, but these things to you, eggs from ek, meaning out of or from. We have the z here in front of an alpha, a vowel, the alpha. So these things from beginning, from the archase beginning, uk, apon. I did not say to you, I didn't tell you these things from the beginning. I'm telling them to you now. And of course, the reason he didn't tell them from the beginning was hoti, because meth humon. Metaz, the preposition, takes the genitive, because with you, again, the genitive plural, second person pronoun, with you, amen, the imperfect, first person singular, imperfect active indicative, because I was with you. The whole point of this entire discussion is to say that Jesus is departing, but he's going to send the Parakletos. This is why they needed this information about the Parakletos, because up until this time, Christ himself has in a sense functioned in that role, but now in his absence and his ascension, he's going to send to them someone who will take up that role. And so now it's essential that they understand that the Parakletos is going to be with them when they begin to confront these persecuting efforts that will be mounted by the enemies of Christ, and by the same token by the enemies of them as well.